Hey guys, Ben here and welcome back to another video on Superman Lois Season 4. Today we're going to be talking about Episode 4 because they released a sneak peek for the episode along with the description, aka the synopsis, and also the title for Episode 4. So if you do go on to enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos later this year. Okay guys, so Episode 3 was a big episode. Episode 4, I think it's still going to be very important, but there are also some subplots that I think are going to be a bit less popular in this episode, but we'll talk about that and a lot more throughout this video. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into this. So the title of the episode is A Perfectly Good Wedding. Now this wasn't released until just now. Now I don't know if this was on purpose or anything. We don't have the episode titles for a lot of episodes that we got remaining. There is 6 episodes remaining, so I don't know if they're going to be releasing them a couple of days before and that's just going to be a normal thing, and obviously they release a synopsis as well. But A Perfectly Good Wedding refers to Kyle and Chrissy because they are going to be getting married in this episode. That is what the title was referring to, and obviously, as I mentioned, they are not the most popular characters, and I think this subplot is just something they need to get out of the way. And I don't believe it's actually going to be a massive thing in this episode. It's going to be a decently big thing, but you're still going to be focusing on Lex, and you're going to be focusing on the potential return of Superman, because at the end of episode 3 we saw Tyler and his version of Superman actually awaken, his eyes opened. We'll see how that goes in this episode. So there is a lot that we need to focus on, and so let's break down the synopsis to give you guys a good understanding of what to expect from this episode. So the episode was directed by Gregory Smith, who's actually the sibling of the guy that's going to be playing Jimmy Olsen. Don't know what episode he's coming, but sometime later in the season. So the Kents struggle to adjust to their new normal, and Lois helps Kyle and Chrissy an impromptu wedding that doesn't go quite as planned. So that is the episode, and this is coming out this Monday, and let's break this down. So the first part is the Kents struggle to adjust to their new normal. Obviously this could be to do with Jonathan having powers along with Jordan. Obviously Jordan has a lot to work through because now he is almost back where he was before, because when he got powers he almost felt a bit more important, you know, he always had doubts about himself. And so with Lois choosing Jonathan over himself and also Jonathan getting powers, I think that power dynamic really has shifted, and they need to figure that out very fast. So that is probably part of the reason that they need to adjust to their new normal. I don't know if this also includes Superman not being around, because I don't think that Superman will be back straight away. I think he will be recovering in the fortress if we do see him in the present day in this episode. But I do believe at some point towards the end of the episode we will see the return of Superman, and he will come back to Smallville, and it will be quite the shock. It will be a massive shock, in fact. And so let's chat a little bit about Kyle and Chrissy, because it seems a bit odd and a bit out of the ordinary for them to throw an impromptu wedding, and it's curious how Lois is involved in this, and apparently it doesn't go according to plan. Now I don't know if this is because of Lex, but currently they don't really have any links to Lex apart from Chrissy working with Lois at the Gazette. Obviously he is targeting the Gazette, he's living across the street, so I don't know if somehow he gets involved. But more likely than not, what could go wrong is maybe them doubting the wedding because it's so impromptu, or it could be something to do with Lana, because obviously Lana is going to find out about this and potentially there could be some beef there. I have no idea exactly, but let me know down in the comments below. Are you looking forward to this part? I have to say for myself, Kyle and Chrissy are probably the least interesting supporting characters in the show, and so seeing them back, it's going to be kind of nice, just because, you know, you do want a proper end to their story, and we will see them in other episodes this season, but they haven't shown up as of yet. But I just find it a bit weird that they're rushing into a wedding, and obviously it's not going to go right. And I'm just curious where Lois fits into all of this. But for now, let's move on to the sneak peek for the episode. This was released by pix11.com. I believe they're just a broadcaster in America, and they were showing a sneak peek that was recorded and has been posted online. And so this is all to do with Lois and her plan to catch and imprison Lex Luthor once again. So obviously this is a huge storyline this season. She is trying to figure out, okay, right, I got this on Lex, I got this on Lex, but he's also got a lot of people working with him, so how can we target them to try and put Lex back in prison? So in this scene we get our first look at the returning Chrissy Beppo. She is in the Smallville Gazette with Lois, and they are talking just at the start of the sneak peek about the board, and you'll see on the screen here, this is like a mood board that they put together, basically highlighting all the people that are working with Lex, and they have put up specific documents, old cuttings from newspapers and mugshots of them in prison, because obviously you've got Gretchen, who has been quite involved in the last couple of episodes because of her link to General Lane, and then also we have Otis, who is Lex's like main henchman. They actually don't have anything on Amanda McCoy, which I think is very interesting, because I don't think right now they know of her involvement, because mainly she's on the business side of Lex's world. But it seems episode by episode she's going to get more and more involved, especially as they grow closer together, because it seems potentially there could be a relationship brewing there, even though it's not going to end well because it's Lex Luthor at the end of the day. And so they don't know much about her, but we know that at one point in the next couple of episodes that Lex is going to be going into a Lexo suit and Amanda is there, and I believe that he's going to be targeting Smallville because he wants revenge, and I think he hasn't been able to get revenge the way that he exactly wants to get it, because I think this will be, you know, after the return of Superman, so he will lose it. He will be like, okay, I have to take it into my own hands, and I'm going to destroy everything that Lois holds dearly. So that's for a later episode. I don't know if that's in this episode where he suits up, but as we saw in the trailer, we know Gretchen's going to be in this episode, and it seems they're going to try and leverage her to give them information that could expose Lex. And you saw her in the burning building. Jonathan is there as well, so potentially Lois could be sending Jordan and Jonathan out on separate missions or together, but you know, they're not really in a good place right now together. So I think they're going to be going after Gretchen. They'll probably be going after Otis. I think Gretchen's the easier one to get at because Otis is completely on Lex's side, and I think Gretchen has already shown that she has another side to her. So I think this is actually the smartest way for Lois to try and get through to Lex, because Lex is not going to budge himself. Like, he's completely set in his ways, and I think what they're doing here is just like, okay, let's do a little brainstorm, let's have a little chat. And Chrissy is here to help Lois, and obviously she's been helping behind the scenes probably with all of this, but we just haven't seen her on screen yet. And so this sneak peek, it basically just shows, okay, this episode we're going to try and target Lex's henchmen. And as you saw in the sneak peek, Chrissy has doubts about why any of them would ever turn on Lex, and Lois says that Lex does not leave any loose ends, and she bets that they know about that. So if they make one mistake, if they make one error, that could potentially lead to their deaths, because Lex doesn't leave any trail behind, because he is so set on being a free man, and if they slip up in any way, they're going to bite the dust. He's not going to have any hesitation about that, and any of them could turn on each other, so Lois is going to be using this against them. And to end the sneak peek, you got Chrissy going off screen, and you can see her picking up the phone, presumably to Kyle. The audio actually goes out at that point, but I'll leave a link in the description below so you can watch the sneak peek for yourself if you haven't watched it already. So it's going to be an interesting episode. It's not going to be the most exciting episode in my opinion. I will watch the episode beforehand, before it comes out, so I will have my review and breakdown out for episode 4 as soon as the episode ends on Monday night. So obviously tune back in for that. And despite the wedding angle of this episode, you guys have to tune in, because I think there is going to be a lot of juicy content to do with Lex, to do with Lois, and the return of Superman. Plus also we've got Jonathan with his newfound powers, and we've got everything that's happening with Jordan as well. So there is a lot to look forward to, despite the Kyle and Chrissy angle being the least interesting part of this episode. But that does go wrong, and we'll see how that actually concludes. But that pretty much does it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment. It would really help this video get out there. Also subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos. And a big shout out to everyone that's been supporting, watching all the Superman Lois videos. I took a couple days break from uploading, but we're going to be back to daily uploads from now on. So for now, you can click on the top right corner of the screen to watch my latest video, and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.